such a broad canvas of colour and light and sound. Back to the Nehru Stadium here in Delhi as this Commonwealth Games opening ceremony continues with Swagatam, which I'm told, Tinku, means welcome.
Welcome, yes, Hugh. There are many ways to say welcome here in India, and I think that's the impression people here definitely want to give.
I think, Hugh, that's the one thing which I think all of us have felt, is that there has been a real welcome for everybody here, media, athletes, etc. And those pictures we've just seen of India, I think one of the great shames might be that people don't go out because they've had that fear that's been almost instilled in them coming to the Games, and of course some haven't come. That's a real shame if that's the case.
हरिहरन और दिल्ली के विभिन्न स्कूली बच्चों द्वारा प्रस्तुत स्वागतम.
So it's the turn of the school children, a very big group among the 9,000 people taking part today. Their task to welcome the world. Swagatam, as I was saying, or Namaste, the traditional Hindi greeting. That's the theme for this display. Children making the shape of two hands held together in the traditional greeting. We can see it there, the Namaskar.
And there are also the bangles. Those hoops represent the bangles on the wrists of women. And you can see how the palms. This is Hariharan. He's a traditional classical singer here in India, well known, well renowned.
And a glimpse there on the balloon of the word welcome in the 18 official languages of India. So the children, having formed the shape of the palms together, are now reforming, and without wanting to give the game away, they're about to do something rather clever, which I think everyone at home will enjoy. Vast areas of cloth are being brought on. There we have the Indian flag unveiled in the colours of the tunics, suddenly covered by these huge areas of cloth. What we can now see is the children painting their own distinctive shapes and colours on the cloth to make a certain pattern which will be revealed shortly.
Well, this is the application of henna, isn't it? Henna tattoos, popular at home, of course.
Yeah, weddings and other big festivals.
Not something I've done myself, I have to say. Yet.
Well, not on that scale, Steve. There we have the outstretched palms. A very graphic illustration of the notion of welcome. A welcome to the world to these Commonwealth Games.
Definitely got the crowd going now.
Well, that was a very big hit. The song and the display, a big hit with the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to welcome the heroes of the Commonwealth Games Delhi 2010. Contingents from 71 Commonwealth countries. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for the participants.
Some 4,000 athletes, a little over 4,000 taking part in these games in 17 disciplines, 260 sporting events. There are 71 nations taking part. The biggest contingent we'll see will be from India. They'll be the last to come in with more than 400 competitors.
Over the last year or two, Hugh, there's been one or two stories about countries wanting to not take part. And you know, the people who really most want to take part in this are the athletes themselves. We won't see many swimmers. They start tomorrow morning, and most countries say, OK, if you're competing in the first 2 days, we don't expect you to take part, but it's up to you after that. So I think we will see probably around about 75% of them, hopefully here tonight, taking part in what is always a memorable occasion. You sometimes, you go through your career, and if you miss this out, you do it with regret. And it's always a memorable day. For some people, this will be the only championships like this in their career they come to.
Leading the way, Australia, of course, the hosts in 2006. Sharelle McMahon, the netball star, leading the way. Australia, of course, as Sue was mentioning earlier, have a stunning record of achievement at the Commonwealth Games. They won a record 221 medals in Melbourne.
Well, they brought a very strong swimming team. There's not many of them going to be out there. As I've said, they'll be competing starting tomorrow morning in the pool. Very strong athletics team as well. In fact, most of them were still in the northeast of England until recently. They flew out from Newcastle, which is Newcastle in the northeast of England. They've been competing there. The likes of Steve Hooker, their Olympic pole vault champion, and Sally Pearson. She'll be looking for gold in the 100 hurdles. Australia should do well in track and field. As ever with the Aussies, they don't exactly march in unison. They come out, enjoy themselves, they're allowed to have a free range, and they're wearing 3 or 4 different colours there.
But given their record in the game, Steve, they're allowed to have a good time. I've been totting up the medals, 1,894 medals in the history of the Games, which is the best performance of all, easily.
And Steve Hooker, and you saw him in the yellow shirt and the tie with the, well, in my days you might have called that a perm, but that's the way his hair is. He has been in the best of form this year, the Olympic pole vault champion, and, but I'm pretty sure that he'll be the favourite for the gold in the pole vault.
Following Australia, Anguilla, British Overseas Territory in the Caribbean, population of just 15,000, and they're led by the cyclist Ronnie Bryan. They first competed in the Commonwealth Games as recently as 1998.
Each of the women, you'll notice, who are carrying the names of the countries are wearing traditional Indian dress. The first one was in a sari and the second one is in a Kashmiri sarwani.
And now, our guests from the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda.
And many of these countries, such as Antigua and Anguilla, we just saw before, who've never won medals at the Commonwealth Games, would have a real opportunity here because of, in particular in some of the sports, and I think track and field very much for the Caribbean nations, huge opportunities. James Grayman, you can see there, will be taking part. And they certainly will be hoping they can pick up a couple of medals. I'm not sure he will in the high jump. He's the national record holder, but he's got a chance.
कृपया स्वागत करें हमारे अगले दल बहामास का।
In come the Bahamas. They gained independence from Britain back in 1973. They're very strong in track and field. And, I think, Steve, they're being led in by the boxer Valentino Knowles.
They are. He's already tasted success at the Commonwealth Games. They have a separate boxing championships, actually, for the Commonwealth. He took a silver medal there, but not in the games themselves. They'll be looking to do well in the athletics once more. Christine Amateur in the 400 and Demetrius Pinder, a new name. We talked about new names coming to the fore, and he's an improving athlete in the men's 400 as well.
Please welcome the People's Republic of Bangladesh.
Here we have Bangladesh, one of India's neighbours, of course, and one of the more newer entrants to the Commonwealth Games. They first took part in 1990. And their flag bearer is their shooter, Mohammad Asif Hussain Khan.
Well, he won a gold medal in Manchester, was just 15 years of age at the time. He doesn't look much older now.
No, he doesn't.
Relations between India and Bangladesh have always more or less been good. Up and down, but pretty much good. Since India helped Bangladesh to gain independence back in 1971 from Pakistan.
देवी और सज्जनों, कृपया स्वागत करें बारबेडोस का।
The very tall figure of Laurel Brown is the netball player, who's the flag bearer for Barbados.
Of course, netball not in the Olympic Games. This is a massive championships for netballers around the world, and it'll be a tight competition, probably in the end between Australia and New Zealand. It often is. The Silver Ferns, will be seeing them later on. But, Barbados
Coming up
hoping to do well.
next is Belize.
You can see the great circle of athletes making their way around this stadium. They'll be taking their seats. You see those triangular sets of white seats. They'll be sitting there to watch the cultural display after this parade. But for many people, as Steve was saying, this is the heart of the ceremony. This is the celebration of those who are taking part. Belize, formerly British Honduras, led by the athlete Kaina
हमारा
Martinez.
अगला दल है बर्म्यूडा से। जोरदार स्वागत करें।
British territory of Bermuda haven't won any medals at the last two games. The only gold was in the high jump back in 1990. They're being led in by a swimmer, Kira Aitken.
Well, they've got a chance, not in the high jump, but in the long jump this time. Tyrone Smith's right up there in the rankings, 8 meters 22.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Botswana.
Very striking blue, black and white flag of Botswana, the republic, the landlocked republic in southern Africa. Amatel Moncho, the athlete leading the men. Botswana, by the way, the world's biggest producer of diamonds. But not quite sure how they'll do here, Steve, because they've never won a gold medal here.
Well, the lady carrying the flag, may well start as the favourite in the 400 metres. She's had a great year this year. She's looked as though her career was kind of going in the opposite direction. Has come back this year on a couple of big meets on the world circuit.